Hello, everybody, and happy 2026. Welcome back to the podcast. Today, I'm going to be talking about how to set your 2026 goals. I'm going to be talking about how you want to show up as a person who is achieving these goals. I'm going to talk about what you want to do when you're setting your goals, and then how to go about doing 90-day sprints. Now, this is an exciting episode because, of course, it's a new year. And if you're listening to this in real time, I love setting goals of like most people do at the beginning of the year. And we just found out that we are having a little girl. Yvette Ann Lowe is due June 5th, and I am so excited for this beautiful little baby to come into our lives. And it really has gotten me thinking a lot about how I want to show up as a mother, especially for a little girl. And as I was thinking about that, as many of you guys who listen to this podcast have children, I have thought a lot about the kind of mother I want to show up as, how I want to be as a role model for her, how I want to show up as a business owner to support her. And that has really gotten me thinking about your 2026 self concept. Now, your self concept is how you view yourself. And a lot of times I feel like we set our goals and we say, okay, this is the number we want to set, but we don't think about who we are before we actually hit that goal. So, for you, first and foremost, I want you to think about reflecting on the kind of person you want to be before we even think about the number. I want you to think about who you're going to become in 2026. I'm going to become a homeowner. I'm going to become a mother. But I also want to think about how that version of me is thinking and how that version of me is showing up. And I use my goals in the form of a sliding scale. I like to think about it in that way. And I want you to think about your self concept in that way too. So, regardless of whether or not your goal for 2026 is to hit a larger goal or if it is to hit a smaller goal on the way to the goal, I want you to think about that future you and their self concept. And when I'm thinking about my future self concept, I'm thinking about myself as a millionaire, as well as a mother, as well as hitting my goals for 2026, which is 500K. So for you, I want you to think about when you're thinking about your future self, I want you to think about your future self and the way you would be described. So I want you to take a moment and use the worksheet that's in the show notes if you want, or just reflect as you're listening to this podcast and think about the version of you that you are becoming in this upcoming year. I want you to think about how that version of you thinks every single day. My future self, my 2026 self, my $1 million mom self is very focused. She is dedicated. She is a very strategic thinker. And that's the energy I want to bring in every single day of 2026. So I want you to reflect on how the future version of you is thinking. I want you to think about how that future version of you is showing up. So for me, I'm getting dressed, I have my nails done, I'm putting my makeup on, I'm making sure that I'm ready to go every single day. Even though I'm going to be on calls for 2 days of the week and then doing behind the scenes work 3 days of the week, I'm making sure that I have this version of me that's showing up as a professional, that is having a strong presence online. I want you to think about the thoughts that they believe about time, money, and success. For me, my future version of me is thinking that in one of the goals that I have for this year is to create a really good relationship with money. I want to be a budgeting connoisseur. I want to be so good. I want to know every single one of my numbers. I want to utilize my time in the most effective way possible. And when I'm thinking about success, I know that it's inevitable. So I want you to think about writing a paragraph that describes your future self. And I want you to just like 3 to 6 sentences, nothing crazy, but I want you to think about how that version of you is showing up. Then I want you to think about your goals for 2026 and I want you to write down three. Now, these goals can be across these multiple areas, but I want you to think about income and revenue as far as your time schedule and boundaries, your growth, audience and clients, and your lifestyle, freedom, and joy. So for me, Goal number one is I like to do an income goal. I think all of you guys should do it. It's good to just even write it out and put it into the universe. Like, this is what I want to create this year. And for me, I do sliding scale goals. So my goal next year is to make between 300 and 500K. I'm aiming for that 500, but I'm going and strategically thinking about it with maternity leave. And I'm thinking, okay, 300 to 500K would be fantastic next year. Then I want to think about my second goal as related to my time. I'm going to be learn how to make 300 to 500K within 9 months of the year instead of all 12 because I'm taking off a 3 month maternity leave from June to August. So I'm thinking about, okay, how am I going to use my time? How am I going to make sure that I'm hitting these goals? And that means I need to be extremely judicious with every single thing that I do, making sure that I have everything locked in throughout this upcoming year. Then I'm going to set another goal that's related to my lifestyle, freedom, and joy. So for me, I also, when I come back from maternity leave, I'm going to, like I said, do 2 days of calls. Tuesday and Wednesday are going to be my call days with clients, and I'm going to have 3 days for back end work. So I know for my lifestyle, I'm going to be getting used to having a little one running around the house. And that is part of my goal for 2026 is to learn how to run a business as a mom. And a lot of the systems that I have been so instrumental in so many of my clients that are parents creating their businesses that I'm going to create new systems and ways to run my business with this amazing little one going around. Now, within each goal, I want you to think about milestones, strategies, and shifts that you're going to create. So for me, hitting 300, 500K is a critical milestone. And so I broke it down into three different categories. For the first quarter of the year, for my first launch, I would need to get 8 to 14 clients in order to hit 300 to 500K. For April, my second quarter launch, again, 8 to 12. And then for my third and fourth quarter goals, I have 4 to 12 clients. So it is shifting. And I actually wrote this down. I actually used chat to help me write it out and say, okay, here's how many clients we would need in the mastermind. Then I know that strategically I'm doing a course. It's called Content to Consults, and it is a low ticket course that gets people into my low ticket program, currently called Marketing Systems. That's also going to be changing next year. So that is one of the next things that I'm going to be doing is optimizing that funnel and getting ads for people to join into my low ticket program. And I'm going to need 2 to 4 clients a month to make that happen and 30 clients over the year. And then I have 5 1-on-ones that I'm going to continue to support throughout the year. So that's the way I break it down. And then the strategies that I have to ensure that I hit those goals is I've strategically invested in 2 business coaches, one for money and one for business that I have invested in for all through next year. And I also have an ads coach that I'm going to be working with that is going to help me to optimize those funnels. So I've made sure that I've been on that. And the mindset shift that I need to create this year I haven't been as on it with my numbers. And the shift that I have this year is that I love my numbers. I want to know my numbers every single week. And when I set a number that is a goal, I hit that goal. And those are the mindset shifts I have. And then, last but not least, I want you to choose a 90-day goal. I want you to think about what is your focus for this next quarter, January to March, or whatever the next quarter is as you listen to this. And I want you to think about how you're setting yourself up strategically to hit those goals. So, for you, this is a recap, short but sweet episode to start off the year. You want to think about who you're becoming. Then you want to actually write down those goals and break them down, and then set a 90-day goal to keep you going, keep you moving towards your goals. And I can't wait for 2026 to be the best year yet for all of us.